Welcome back to Yang Daily. I'll be your host, Alex Cheney, bringing you all the Yang news you need to live your life right. Would have gotten this one out sooner, but we're doing renovation and it's been too loud to record, particularly since our drywall guy really likes to sing while he works. Yeah. Anyway, finally some peace and quiet, so let's get to it because we've got a lot of stuff to get through. In a rare occurrence, I'm happy to report an incumbent won her primary. Rashida Tlaib, author of the ABC Act to finance a true emergency UBI via coinment, trounced her primary challenger and will proceed to the general election. Congrats to Rashida. We need your voice. Meanwhile, Missouri's 1st District saw the overthrow of a many decades-old dynasty by Bernie fan Cori Bush. Cori said her first priority is an emergency UBI. And in my very own backyard, the wonderful ex-mayor of Tacoma won her primary and will be advancing on to the general election for Congresswoman of Washington. Congrats, Maryland. Truly amazing to see this many UBI advocates getting through. In yesterday's episode, I accidentally linked the day's action item instead of the calendar, so I've fixed that, and you can find the correct link below, where you can also look to see the action items for weeks in advance. Today's is still setting up a UBI march in your area. Paul Meany put together an article outlining Thomas Paine's argument for UBI and the historical environment in which it was formed to better understand it. This agrarian justice is still Scott's favorite argument for UBI. If you haven't read Paine's argument that people are entitled by right to a UBI as compensation for their loss of rights to the fruits of public lands, be sure to do so here. As another example of how severely we're getting gouged on healthcare costs in America, an ex-Gilead scientist, Robert Jordan, salvaged the much-hyped Remdesivir drug 7 years ago from a pile of cast-off molecules. Many drugs have use in treating illness but don't attract commercial interest because the lack of potential for huge drug sales, and this was one such. This is how our healthcare functions. It doesn't matter if it's beneficial to humanity, it matters if it's profitable. When the pandemic made the drug a big deal, Gilead priced Remdesivir at $3,100 per dose, despite the fact that generics were selling it for $600 in Africa, and that one study supposedly found it could be sold at cost for $1. What's more, 3 federal health agencies were deeply involved in Remdesivir's development, every step of the way providing tens of millions of dollars of government research support. Public Citizen estimates public investment at a minimum of $70 million. Despite the heavy subsidies, federal agencies did not assert patent rights to the drug, leaving Gilead to set any price they want, despite the fact that they wouldn't be selling it at all without government assistance. This is what happens with all sorts of drugs and devices. They get funded by the government and sold for massively gouged profits by private companies. If government is going to be involved in their creation, they should limit the price to a reasonable profit margin, as proposed by both Bernie and Yang, and we should never be paying significantly higher prices than other countries. Have you filled out your 2020 census yet? If not, you should go and do it right now. Many people don't understand that the census is vital in determining your political power. How many people respond to the census in your area is how many people get representation in government. How many representatives your area gets, including electoral votes, depends on how many of you fill out the census, which determines the weight your vote gets. Don't disenfranchise yourself, especially now. If you want Trump out and Yang in, fill out the census. You can do it right now, online, in minutes. Follow the link below. If you've gotten a code in the mail, put that in. If you haven't, click the Don't Have a Code button. Works either way. The citizenship question never got added, by the way. As a perfect follow-up to yesterday's discussion on MMT, Basic Income Conversation is hosting a webinar on how monetary financing and sovereign money could be the way to pay for UBI, discussed by Francis Coppola, Jeff Crocker, and Emma Donne. It will take place next Monday, August 10th, and you can register at the link below. Educator and congressional candidate for 2022, Erica Rhodes, hosted a discussion on creating inclusive classrooms yesterday, which you can find below. Yang dropped in on Nerds for Yang to talk about the future of the movement. He also was hosted on an episode of The Carlos Watson Show to discuss the campaign, Yang's current affairs, and future plans. He also got in the bubble with Andy Slavitt to talk about how policies, movements, and political efforts are formulated. And Andrew also visited an, let's say, unconventional podcast called Dumb Gay Politics. I listened to it a bit. It's pretty fun. Check it out. If you could have one thing short of UBI, what would it be, gang? If your answer was eccentric musician Gecko singing a UBI adaptation of Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 song, boy, do I have the perfect news for you. Because, that's the news. That happened, and it's awesome. Listen at the link below. Finally, Amazon Smile has added an affiliate link so you can donate to Humanity Forward every time you buy something on Amazon. Hell yeah. If you're unfamiliar, you go to smile.amazon.com instead of amazon.com, so just put a smile dot in front of it. Same exact site, except that your purchases contribute toward a charity of your choice. Follow the link below and click the Pick a Different Charity link to switch to Humanity Forward. Funding a UBI with our purchases, it's the Yang plan come true. And that'll do it for today's Yang Daily. Congratulate Rashida, Marilyn, and Corey, and thank them for supporting UBI. Read, share, and bookmark the Thomas Paine article. Fill out the census while there's still time. Check out Gecko's UBI Song. Link Amazon Smile to Humanity Forward. Help recruit other organizations to the cause and get everyone to sign the UBI petitions. Flood Congress and Trump with calls, tweets, and letters using the ResistBot or Income Movement easy contacts below. If you need financial help, consult Humanity Forward, the Income Movement Aid Database, United Way, or the H3 podcast thread. And don't forget to Yang Daily.